Hello! In this video I will show you how to create this drawing in Procreate using one of my coloring pages like Consulat. I will put a link to where to get the pages in the description. For the coloring I will be using Lisa Glanz aquarelle brushes and the canvas that comes with it. I am using the chiffon canvas. And here is the color palette. I will use screenshot or use the codes for the colors. If you don't have this canvas, the colors won't look the same in the end, so maybe you will need to adjust them to your liking. So I will start by importing the digital coloring page, and I will be coloring underneath the outline layer. For most of the coloring I am using the round brush from this pack. The size really don't matter, what works best for you, use that. And each new color I will put on a new layer. So let's start with the red. If you want a reference for the colors, you can look up the cafe and you will see how it looks in real life. So I am just coloring everything that will be red: flower pots, cafe sign, little awnings in the windows. For the big awning I am coloring one stripe and leave one empty. And for that big part I will use a little trick and I will walk you through as I'm doing it. So first put the outline layer as reference, then go back to the red color layer and with selection tool choose automatic and select that long part and also between the letters those little bits, and then click the brush icon, make the size super big and you will color the awning in one go, and then click off the reference. Continue by coloring the stop sign, little bits in the door, and yeah. Then I will walk you through some other bits. I will make a new layer and add some stamps. For each stamp I will make a new layer. It is easier to move them around. And then stamp wherever you want some splatter or some color coming outside of the outline. This will give a loose watercolor look. And erase the parts that you don't want. Use eraser or use selection tool with freehand, just circle around the part you don't want, swipe with 3 fingers and choose cut. And then merge all those color layers together. On a new layer, I will draw some flowers with a round brush and red color. I want this to be on a new layer for the little trick I will show you later. On a new layer with the light green color, I will color in the greenery. Once that is done, I will click select on the flower layer and then click on the green layer and choose clear. Do that a few times. This will erase the flowers from the green. And then I will click select on green layer and clear on the red color layer. This will erase the green parts from the red flower pots. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. Next, on a new layer, I will color in the rest of the stripes in the beginning with the darker green. With the darkest color in the palette, which looks a bit like black but it's not, I will color in the roofs, water pipe on the top, little lamps and lantern, chalkboard and sign pole and table legs. And then also add some stamps for looser look like I did with the red color. With the bluish color, I will color in the windows that are on the upper wall and the vases that are on the table. With the brown color, I will color in the facade. I like to color in one go, one section, so I don't need to smudge the color. But if you lift up your pencil somewhere in the middle and start again, then just smudge, blend out the color, so there isn't harsh line in the middle. And at the end, I will add some stamps, also coming outside of the outline, like we did with the red and the black. The yellow color I will add in the lantern, tables, little part at the bottom of the door, and the cafe's windows. And then with smudge and accent brush I will add little light coming from those little lamps on the wall. And using reference and automatic selection I colored in the letters on the awning, also with the yellow, but later I will make them dark. So choose whatever color you want for those restaurant like Consulat. Now with the first color in the palette I will color in few bits that are left uncolored, like the things in the stop sign, some signs in the door windows, those little conus things on the pavement, and then on a new layer I will stamp the building's wall with this color, and then with barb I will push it into place how I like, and the raised parts I don't want, and the same for the pavement. And then either erase with the eraser brush or using the select and clear, but I want to erase everything on the wall that is not wall. So flower pots, greenery, etc. For the chairs I choose red and yellow and brown color. Red and yellow I did on those color layers, but for the brown I made a new layer. Now we will make everything look more interesting and dimensional. So first choose where your light source is. Mine is on the right side, so everything on the left side will be darker. Then I will make a multiply layer on top of each layer. Let's start with the blackish color. So on that multiply layer I will add color where the objects would be darker. So on the table leg and that pole I drew more on the left side, and then leave some parts from first layer uncolored so it will look lighter. The chalkboard I colored in everything. For the lamps I also darkened the left side. I am now using ground brush again for this job. I added few lines and accents on the roof parts, and for the pipe I also think of where it would be darker and color there, and leave some parts uncolored. This is what gives that three-dimensional look. Then I will merge the layers together because I don't like many layers, but you can keep them as is. Then I will make a new layer, keep it as normal, and with the yellow color I will add some light accents where the sun would shine, so more on the right side, and then merge together the layers. And on new layer I will add some text to the chalkboards and duplicate it so it is more opaque, and then merge together. For the blue windows, I will make a multiply layer, but this time I will add some stamps. So you can do clipping mask, but I think my version will look more saturated. So once you are done stamping, click on the blue window layer, click select, and then at the bottom invert. And then on the blue stamp layer, click clear. It will erase everything around the blue window color. And then I will do the same with white color on normal layer. Stamp, click select, invert, and clear on the stamp layer, and merge all the window layers together. For the brown facade, I will do the same thing. Make new multiply layer and then stamp with brown and yellow color. Then click select, invert on the brown facade layer and clear on the stamp layer and merge together. And then just to make everything even more three-dimensional, I will make a new multiply layer, darken the brown color by using those sliders for the colors, and add some dimension with the round brush. Again, remember where your light source is, and then you want to keep, if you want to keep the harsh lines, then just keep them as is, or if you don't want, then use that smudge finger and smudge with the smudge and accent brush. On a new normal layer with the yellow color, I will add few lines and dots where the sun would shine, and then again merge all the brown facade layers together. And then pretty much you go through all the layers, the red, green, like all the layers and use the same method. Multiply layer for darkening, and then choose the same color or that color and make it darker. Add stamps and then use select, invert and clear, or if you use round brush, then just draw smudge. And on a normal layer, also add some lighter spatter or just draw with round brush. And when you will be done with all the colors this way, I will show you more tricks how to make this look super gorgeous. to the inside of the cafe's windows. On a new layer, the darker green will go on the bottles and brown will be for the wooden bits. Also add some red here and there, and when you are happy with the look, keep it with this or use Gaussian blur to blur it out a bit, because this is behind the glass, so it is not super clear from our point of view. Now you will see me changing the color to those letters in the awning from yellow to dark. I also tried white color, but I ended up with dark. Now I will merge all the color layers together. If you want to change something later, then maybe keep them as is, but I like everything tidy and few layers. And then one more thing that adds interest to the drawing is scribbles. I will make new multiply layer and choose the pencil brush. The size will be very small, like 2%. And then by using all the colors from the palette, I will scribble here and there, inside the lines, outside the lines, and if you want, you can also use the round brush to add some random dots and lines with different colors all around the drawing. Once that is done, merge the layers together and make new multiply layer for the shadows. Now I will use the hard round brush from the Procreate brushes, airbrush, in the airbrush section. And for start I will pick the blackish color so you can see better where I draw. So if the sun is on the right, the shadows will be on the left side and bottom, because the sun is up in the sky. So a big shadow from the awning, then inside the windows and all that. I haven't figured out myself how the shadow would be from the chairs, so I just did a little scribble there. And then you can experiment with the shadow color by changing it in the hue slider, or just pick colors and use new layer and clipping mask. I ended up with dark brown for the shadows. For the sunshine, I will make a new layer, change it to add mode and lower the opacity. And then with yellowish color and with dry brush from Lisa's set, I will draw diagonal lines in the windows. Then add some splatter all around and just lines and dots around where the sun would shine with the round brush. Pretty much the drawing is finished. Now you can play around with curves if you want and see how the color changes. I also want to add more vintage look, so I will add vintage paper in the background, some coffee stains, an overlay layer and some text. I have a video where I show all this more thoroughly. I will add a link to that video in the description. But I have a little news for you. If you have already all the resources I mentioned in that vintage video, then it's super great. If you don't, then maybe don't buy them now, because very soon I will have a pretty amazing new product release which will combine all of this. So I hope you liked the video and I can't wait to see your versions of this drawing. Bye!